Daily Ascent. I'm Molly Carmel, and this is the podcast that I always wish existed. A bite sized, on the ground, spiritual note that can shift your thinking and your outlook on life to make all of our days a little better and to make us more awake, alive, and ascending. So, I want to talk about one of these weird paradoxes of growth. Like when things start going right, when that light kind of breaks through, it can feel absolutely terrifying. So, this one's going to be about what happens when abundance actually shows up. And instead of relaxing into it, we panic. Because sometimes what we've prayed for, it doesn't come in softly. It comes in like a tidal wave. And our job is to learn how to ride it instead of running from it. So for about, I don't know, 3 years, maybe longer, I was in some real professional darkness. I lost a lot of my business during COVID and had some really shady things go down, which I'll probably share a lot about on this podcast. And honestly, like my creative brightness just like slowed down in a good way. I think my world got smaller and quieter, and I pared down my team to just about me. And I thought, like, I don't know, maybe this is how it'll be. And then all of a sudden, the light started coming back like really fast, like really fast. This podcast came through like a lightning bolt. This program that had sort of started gestating in my mind about the legacy of my work in the eating disorder field started to form. Just like ideas were pouring in at 3 a.m. It was like someone turned a faucet on in my soul full blast. And it was amazing. Honestly, it was incredible, but super overwhelming because I knew I was going to have to get some help. And didn't know that I felt ready for that. But one day, I had a dog walker come to my house to walk my dog. And then a second dog walker came a couple of hours later, and I realized I just couldn't do it all at once, right? I just couldn't do it all at once. And I was messing up scheduling clients. Like it was messy. And so I did the responsible, terrifying thing and started interviewing people for help. It was a real leap of faith because honestly, like financially, I didn't really know if I could do it, but I was like, let's just go, girl. Let's go all in. And I met Kathy. Kathy was amazing. She was organized and kind and smart and intuitive and funny and like a mom, like the mom I needed. And she's really like the kind of person you pray for. And I was like, this woman is too good to be true. Like I didn't trust it. I had a lot of history with hiring some not so great people. And so I just did my due diligence. I called every single reference she gave me. I just kept on waiting for this catch that never came. So I took the leap and I hired her. And the story doesn't get better. The minute I did, my chest tightened. Like my stomach was doing flips. I looked at my bank account and I was like, what did I just do? Right. And I spent like the whole day ruminating on this. Like, did I make a mistake? Is she right? Is she too good? Is she like messy, 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 messy? It was like my nervous system hadn't even remotely caught up to this being a possible blessing. Because for those 3 years, I was really in like some survival mode and abundance felt very foreign to me, almost dangerous. And this exact day, I was doing my daily readings, and there's a great pocket sage from Overeaters Anonymous called Just for Today. And here's what it said. The best person to expect anything from is myself, yet the thought of excelling makes me shrink back and say I can't. I've experienced the joys of jumping in without self-consciousness and rising to my own and others' expectations. What keeps me from attaining my full potential most of the time is the negativity of self-obsession. When my attention is constantly focused on myself and my performance, I'm strangely hobbled. Getting out of my own way gives me the freedom to rise to the highest level of which I'm capable. For those of you in the back. The best person to expect anything from is myself, yet the very thought of excelling makes me shrink back and say, I can't. I've experienced the joys of jumping in without self-consciousness and rising to my own and others' expectations. What keeps me from attaining my full potential most of the time is the negativity of self-obsession. When my attention is constantly focused on myself and my performance, I'm strangely hobbled. Getting out of my own way gives me the freedom to rise to the highest level of which I'm capable. That line, getting out of my own way, it literally stopped me cold in my tracks because that is literally what I was doing. I was just making the whole thing about like me, when the universe was giving me what I'd asked for in the universe's timing, not mine. So listen, expansion is not easy. We think it will be, like, we think it'll fix everything. We think it'll be this beautiful, gentle exhale, like a beautiful pillow to put our head on. But often it's the opposite. It stretches us. It asks us to become bigger than we were yesterday. And that stretch can be scary. Because it's really easy for the nervous system to mistake divine growth for danger, especially when we're used to playing it small, and especially when we've experienced things that have taken away this kind of happiness. But fear and faith, they live next door to each other. They live on that edge where we don't yet know what's next. And that day, I realized I wasn't afraid of Kathy or the money. I was afraid of becoming someone who couldn't hold all this light. And that's the truth of expansion. It's not always comfortable, but it's always a calling. And when I can stop obsessing about myself, like my performance, my bank account, my control, my fear of failure, my fear of abandonment, my fear, all the fears, right? That's when I can get to experience what's trying to come through to me. And it's almost always something better than we could have planned. And honestly, Kathy's pretty dope. And so our word of the day today, expansion. This sacred stretch between who you've been and who you're becoming. It's that space that aches before it opens, that growing pain. And it says that there's a new capacity. And expansion asks for a lot of courage, a lot of trust, and a willingness to be uncomfortable in the name of something greater. It's not about getting more. It's about becoming more. For those of you in the back, it's not about getting more. It's about becoming more. So my question for you today, where in your life are you being invited to expand? And can you meet that stretch with faith instead of fear? I think you can. So if today's episode resonated, can you give it a share to somebody? Give it a little gift. Somebody might need the reminder that growth can feel scary and right at the same time. And you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on YouTube, on my website, mollycarmel.com. And you can always reach me at dailyascentpod@gmail.com. And I'll be back with another reflection tomorrow. Until then, keep opening to the light that's trying to find you.